Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very interesting news when it comes to brand new PlayStation 5 hardware that's going to be coming and leaked as of recently. We also have some speculations on what it actually might go and be. We also have some brand new, really big controller updates too, which has actually been kind of asked for and a lot of people have been kind of pushing for, and as well as some other kind of intriguing things too, just all around floating around. So if you guys will stay tuned, relax, and enjoy as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys like to go and follow. And of course, we have all the Amazon links down below for all the consoles. And let's go dive into the video. So as you guys may or may not know, we keep on seeing like a somewhat consistent onslaught of brand new hardware. Now when it comes to that, say for the Xbox, we've been seeing them kind of more so focused on gaming acquisitions, but PlayStation, especially if you guys look at the TVs, you guys look at the headphones, headsets, and even the brand new DualSense controller, brand new LeBron James controller skins and everything else, and also even look at the PlayStation VR 2, we've been seeing a really big major push into like basically accessory gaming, or also trying to go and broadly expand out the ecosystem when it comes to games as a whole. So very first and foremost, we actually have some very big news when it comes to a brand new leak, and then right afterwards we have some other big update news. So we've actually been seeing some pretty big kind of news when it comes to Tom Henderson stating and pushing for the fact that there's now an unannounced Sony and PlayStation hardware that'll be coming very soon. So according to Tom Henderson, Sony has more unannounced hardware that'll be coming somewhat soon, and it's also not apparently this either PlayStation 5 Pro, PlayStation 5 Slim, this brand new iteration. It's actually something completely different. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of highlight over here. Where
talk about it in more detail, but there's also another piece of Sony hardware that will be released before the Pro that I'm more likely to talk about very soon. So definitely stay tuned for that. I can't say anything more. It's not an April Fool's or anything like that, but there is more hardware coming from Sony than what's been reported on at the moment.
So first of all, let's go talk about this a little bit of a deep dive on it. Very intriguing to note because we have seen a lot of big leaks coming out, mainly on like this weird, like somewhat hybrid PlayStation 5 Digital, PlayStation 5 Disc type console, whereas we kind of look at it and see it, you can kind of go and tell it's gonna be probably next, just based on the iterations we talked about a lot on the channel, the PlayStation 5 Slim news and all of that. But the next big thing is, what else even is there? That's what I kind of want to talk about here really quickly, is that if you guys have been seeing, both Xbox and PlayStation, and obviously Nintendo, have been trying their best to make the next big major push when it comes to gaming and gaming as a whole, especially on mobile gaming. Now, right now we have literally TVs, like Sony's made a lot of different TVs, so that's probably not on the list unless they want to give us a really lame announcement. They already have a brand new DualSense Wireless Pro controller. Probably nothing to do with the PlayStation on that. Same thing with the PlayStation VR 2. It's already come out, and although it's been slightly on the rockier side, it is already out. So what is kind of still left there when it comes to integrationable stuff? Number one could also maybe be like some sort of like a webcam type style thing, kind of think like an old Kinect, maybe, if you guys really want some weird like AI, VR type, like hybrid type technology. But one thing that I'm kind of pushing towards a little bit, because I guess this is more of just like that really brunt leak, is what about another brand new mobile console? So we've kind of touched on this before because we've been seeing PlayStation, like I said, want to push a lot more into the mobile market. But on top of that too, we've also been seeing other companies such as the Activision acquisitions going on, which is mainly focused on Candy Crush and other various type style of games, also being a really big deal. But as well, don't forget they already have made things like the PSP and PS Vita, and they've also been hiring a lot and expanding out their mobile division quite a bit. We've also been seeing even more bigger new updates because obviously everyone wants a new Switch, brand new Zelda Switch, and of course the Switch Pro rumors, but as well things like the Steam Deck has been doing very good on top of this. And on top of this too, there's a lot of other various games such as the Aminio, which I think has also been getting a lot of good attention to as well. We're just seeing stuff all over the place. Like some of these are a little bit more on the expensive side. This is literally $800. It's a lot, but this is kind of like the next, I think, somewhat niche wave of gaming. Now, this kind of means like the Switch. Obviously, everyone loves the Switch, but it's old hardware. It's outdated. We need the Switch Pro too. But we're seeing things like the like Anio, whatever it's called, Anio Neo, and obviously more so the Steam Deck. We guys look through all these things, and people are enjoying these. People are literally playing games. Like I saw people getting so excited for Diablo 4 on the handheld gaming side. And there's just a lot. And there's a lot of these brand new things kind of popping on off. And they're all kind of similar concepts of just like basically the little mini gaming PC that you guys can go and have a chance to rock on in. Or just people trying to work in, laptops or whatever it might be. But there's a lot. Like a lot of people are enjoying this. This might be the next big major step. And I really can't think of anything else. Because like I said, we have the headphones, we have the headsets, we have the controllers, we have everything else. The brand new like PlayStation 5 PS5 Pro, so what else could be next? And I really think the mobile market is underrated, especially after seeing Microsoft wanting to go and invest so much money and time into things like their USB sticks and all that other stuff too. I think it's good. I think it's nice, and I think this could be our next big step. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Now, I also want to give you guys a quick little heads up on some of the brand new updates too on top of this. So on the speaking of like brand new tech and everything, Sony now has a brand new partnership that is now working with Apple. Now, we've actually kind of seen them do stuff before. I believe like PlayStation Plus members used to have like an Apple, like the Apple Plus, whatever it's called as well, like the Apple Pro, whatever, the little subscription service thing, like the iCloud thing or whatever it is. That was also in works, and they also did have some other DualSense support before. But brand new news right now is with these updates is that Sony and Apple now have some good vibes. So if you love to play video games and you double as a lover of Apple devices, then this should come as an exciting news for you. It's because Sony has collaborated with Apple to allow gaming compatibility between their respective devices. By this, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can now be able to fully run your PS5 games on your iDevice. That may be possible in the future though, since technology is growing in the day. So it's not like a one-to-one where you can literally play your PlayStation 5 games on your, say, iPad or iPhone, but you also can now finally have the Bluetooth technology utilizing all of your, well, so like basically the systems inside your controller to utilize it and play it on your iPad or use it for games or mobile games. Now, as I'm sure you guys know, there is a lot of mobile games out there that people do play. So maybe a good example still, say like, let's say Fortnite. Although a little bit rocky with Apple, I'm sure you guys probably know. But it's just a good, probably the easiest example of people sometimes may don't have a good gaming laptop or computer or even a console. Like, maybe some parents are like, yeah, we'll give you an iPad. You can go on YouTube. You can write some Word docs. You can type. You can text, whatever. Use Twitter. That's fine. Watch Twitch streams, like mine, whatever. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool technology that does seem like it's now fully integrated. So the DualSense Edge PS5 controllers are now fully supported by Apple devices, where for now, what you get is the ability to play games on all your Apple devices using Sony's new PS5 controller. Apple has officially enabled support for the new DualSense Edge on all the Apple devices. So this means that your basically Apple devices can now serve as your mini consoles if you guys want to do things like old school Temple Run or whatever it might be. So Sony released the $119 high-end controller in January this year. I think it's a little bit more expensive than that, but whatever, as a pro controller to the standard DualSense controller. So basically it does have the improvements, has the battery, like changes, all that type of stuff that people are very curious on, but they were asking for it, and they got it. Like, a lot of people have been wanting to have this support for it. It is like a pretty expensive controller, but it does seem pretty easy to integrate. It is just a Bluetooth thing. So it's very nice to see these updates and seeing the fact that Sony and Apple still have a pretty okay working relationship. I'll be very curious to see on what's going on in the future, as Sony keeps on trying to push this like slightly more higher standard, and we're like the premium brand type style that Sony and, well, basically Microsoft are competing against. It kind of seems like Microsoft's for the people, like an Android, and then PlayStation is trying to push the Apple, or they're like, hey, we're for the high class, sophisticated users out there. So very intriguing to know. And as well, just a little bit of a reminder too, we did go and say that this is also confirmed not for the brand new like PS5 Slim or whatever that type of stuff too as well in regards to Tom Henderson. Now, last but not least, we did go cover this up in a separate video, but the PlayStation VR 2 is actually getting a lot more attention and a lot more concerns from folks. As we kind of covered up throughout this one, they were only apparently running 270,000 units. I'm not really sure entirely why. It does seem a little bit on the lower end. Surprisingly, I'm actually like quite concerned on this one. Although once again, we've had these same articles kind of called out before. A lot of people have kind of been curious on what they mean, or curious on like, is these numbers actually this low? And people are kind of concerned. Like, we saw some folks out there in the community that literally had their own PlayStation VR 2, and they're kind of worried about the longevity of it. Mainly because they want to know is like, are there going to be games still being developed? Are there going to be people still supporting this as time goes on? Is it going to be a dud? Am I going to actually use this? Like, will I ever have like big mainstream integration, think like God of War Ragnarok on a PlayStation VR 2? And of course, with the sales numbers going down, that also means that Sony may not want to go and invest as much money if these are just not doing as well. I still think the price point's a little bit high. If there's like a $400, I think a lot more folks would be like, I don't know, susceptible of actually buying it and getting it. It would make sense to me. Like, I would actually really like it. But, well, sadly, a lot of folks are just not vibing this at all. And this is also kind of why I might be a little bit concerned for the future of PlayStation hardware, mainly because if we're seeing things such as maybe the DualSense Edge, we don't know how good the sales are, or the PlayStation VR 2, we're kind of hearing the sales aren't that good, especially because they never went out of pre-order. And it kind of makes me a little bit more on the worried side of whatever Sony might go make next, because we don't want it to flop. And as well, if they keep on kind of flooding the markets with like those like inset headsets, these brand new controllers and VR headsets. Yeah, it's nice. You have a brand to go and sell it to, but also to be realistic where some people don't care that much about a PlayStation brand, where they're going to be buying literally everything. So I'm kind of curious in your thoughts and comments on the future leaks and speculations. And of course, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter down below, all the Amazon links for all the consoles and such as well down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.